Okay, so I have this board. It's an Allen Bradley ControlLogix power supply for a ControlLogix 5000 at my work, and I scrap requested it a while ago. Finally got around to looking at it. So input 120 to 240, output 13 amps at 5.1 volts, 2.8 amps at 24 volts, 4 amps at 3.3 volts, and 1.5 amps at 1.2 volts. Those are the max ratings on that. It looks great power factor. Look at that, 95 watts with 225 VA. Wow. Wonder what they're doing in there. Anyhow, I thought I would take it apart and see what it looks like inside and see if I can see what might have failed in it. It's got a green indicator up here, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but it just says power. It doesn't indicate good power, it just says power, and that was not illuminated, and my PLC and my whole rack was dead. So yeah, Allen Bradley, it's a 1756-PA75A in category revision G02. No firmware, surprisingly. Everything's got firmware these days. But anyhow, ControlLogix power supply module. Let's go ahead and take this thing apart and see what it looks like inside. Once I get the board out of it, I'll wire a cord up to it. We'll plug it in and just maybe measure a couple voltages and see if I see anything. So let me pop this thing open and we'll move forward from there. One moment. Okay, well, there is the board. And I was wondering if there might have been a fuse hiding up here somewhere. And yes, there is a fuse right there. And it does look good, by the way. Big filter cap, 2 big filter caps in there. And then that's a nice little heat sink. Before this goes in the recycle, I think I will harvest that heat sink for future use. Good quality caps, it looks like, possibly Nichicons. Let me get you zoomed in just a hair more here. They're all glued down for vibration resistance. Doesn't look too terribly bad. A lot going on in here. Look at that. Opto isolators and comparators. All kinds of good stuff. Is that like a super cap back there maybe? And a jumper for low or high. Not quite sure what that is for, honestly. But I guess we can try to make some voltage measurements over here on these 2 big caps and just see if we get anything on those. I would expect to see probably 160 volts. Can't tell what the value on those guys are. They are 105 degrees Celsius caps, which is great when you pay this much for a device. Yeah, those are 105s as well. Well, just for the fun of it, let's hook up a cord and we'll see what it does. Okay, I do have a grounded suicide cord connected up to it right here. Hot is on the top, neutral in the middle, and earth on the bottom. So I just had to power this thing on. I'm going to watch the amp meter over here whilst I power it up and see if we get a bump in current or anything. I could give you I've got a clamp on amp meter over here. That I could set up. Micronta, yes. Well, you know, I was young, but it's a good meter. I still have it. And even have the, whatever it is, 10 times adapter. So let me get this set up. Be right back. Okay, hopefully everything is kind of in view, except for a cat. That should be over here. Oh, I set the 10 times adapter on her chair. Sorry, that was my bad. Anyhow, amp meter in view. Hopefully you can see that. Let's try to wedge it up a little bit. Of course, then it'll be super reflective. There you go. You can see most of the board up here, and I'm going to make a measurement depending on what I see. Okay, so here we go. Power on. I did see a very small bump, as if it was charging capacitors or something. And, oh, you've got to be kidding me. I've got a power LED that is actually on. You shut some lights off real quick. And try to pick it up without getting zapped. I don't want to grab the corners of the circuit board. But I do think that's a green LED. That is the weirdest thing, because this thing was not working in the rack. I'll shut it off. Green LED goes away. Get this out of here. This might make a nice bench power supply. We'll power it back on. And we get the green LED. Instantly it goes off. So it's looking at logic, or looking at the actual waveform. Turn the voltage down. So we are currently at about 81 volts. And then that's just under 80. And there's wide open 150 volts. Well, doggone it, it's actually working. Well, that's pretty pointless, I guess. I wonder if I can find the outputs and just see if it's outputting voltage. It's probably going to be pretty easy to do. We just need to find a common ground. And just see if we get any kind of voltage output. I'm just wondering if this large pad is ground. Looks like that's a cap. 5.05 volts right there. So that was one of the output voltages, 5.1 it said. Oh, those two are in parallel. So is that the... Still 5 volts. There's 24 volts. I thought there was mention of a 3.3 volt output as well, but I'm not seeing that. Huh. Let me do a little bit of research. One moment. Okay, so I went ahead and soldered on a lead to what I believe is common ground. And let's power this thing on. And let's see, back over here, these are the rectifier diodes. So I've got 5.057 volts. 5.057, I believe those two are in parallel. That output is also 5. Oh, those three are in parallel, excuse me. And then this output right here should be the 24 volt supply, 23.65 volts. And then I do believe this pin right here is 3.3 volts. So what did it claim? 5.1 volts, 24 volts, 3.3, oh, and 1.2 volts, which I believe... No, it's 3.3. I thought I saw one that was around 1.2 volts. Huh. Isn't that interesting? Give me one moment. Okay, so I thought I'd just go ahead and measure the voltages on this connector to make life a little bit easier. And so obviously this is ground, and then this side is the 5 volt supply. I believe that is 3.3, and I thought one of these was 24 volts. And then up here is the 1.197 volt supply, or the 1.2 as indicated on the label. So it's a good power supply. Maybe if I need 5 volts at 13 amps, I'll use this guy for something. It's nice to have a 2.8 amp 24 volt power supply. I've got that Sola that I did the video on a while ago, changing just one cap. I'll put the link up here in the corner. Hopefully I'm pointing maybe that one. I think it's this one, corner. And yep, that's going to be it. Allen Bradley 1756 PA 75A revision G02 for the ControlLogix processors. Okay, everyone have a great day. Sorry for wasting your time. Bye-bye. Just for the heck of it, I told you I was going to measure the voltage on those big filter caps, and I think my leads are backwards, so this should be ground and this should be hot, and obviously it's reversed, so that is ground and that is hot. Don't do that. Don't short your leads together. 161.2, and we're right at about 117, 118 volts going into it. 161.2 on that guy and 161.2 on that one. Switch the switch off, and it does discharge. Looks like it has a discharge resistor, so that's a good thing, so you don't get zapped. Anyhow, once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.